You are listening to the Bell Ringers podcast on Philly Sports Reports, brought to you by SeatGeek. Here are your hosts, Colin Daly and Benjamin Goldstein.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bell Ringers podcast. Colin Daly here alongside Benjamin Goldstein. And we are here with episode number 85. Episode 85. The Phillies are on a little bit, well, it started off rocky in the series against the Nationals, and they found themselves on a little bit of a roll, winning the last two to take the final series against the Nationals in 2025. We had a great start by Ranger Suarez, 7 innings, 3 hits, and 11 strikeouts, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 11 Ks on 90 pitches. That's a career high for Rangers. So pretty good stuff, especially when they need it right now.
Absolutely. And we'll talk about the reasoning for that in a couple of minutes here. But yeah, I mean, the Phillies they've found ways to keep winning ball games and keep their lead in the National League East. I believe they're at 6.5 games now. They're at
Up to
6
7.
and a half, 7. Okay, okay. Yeah, I haven't checked on what the Mets have been doing today
They
just
lost
yet.
today.
Well, I figured, yeah, if they were up to 7. And again, the Phillies do have a very big series with the Mets actually starting tomorrow. So we will chat about that in a little bit as well. But Ben, what is your outlook on the Phillies since we last had a podcast? Was it 8 days ago? 6 days ago? I don't remember.
Well, I mean, pretty much kind of the same story. You're going to have to go without Zack Wheeler for the rest of the year, which we'll get into a bit more. Castellanos starting to hit a little bit better as of late. Kepler still hitting pretty well, and you've had a few guys come back. Jose Alvarado's come back. Aaron Nola's come back. So kind of the similar. Still playing well, getting the big hits. Schwarber's cooled off a little bit. Trey Turner's still been hitting very well. Kind of still the same story as it's been for over the last week. Got the 2 series wins. Dominant sweep over Seattle. That was a really fun series.
It was. That was one of their best series in a long time.
Yeah, they were saying that's maybe the best, one of the best series in franchise history. They were saying, I don't know about all that.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Considering the franchise is 142 years old. But yeah, so very good homestand. 5-1 homestand. We both said 4-2, so they proved us wrong. Phillies continue to play well, so that's it's always good. Had some nail biters against Washington, but don't have to play them for the rest of the year, and they're out of it anyway. So
yeah, and I'll tell you, I'm going to skip around in our order a little bit, Ben. I want to go and talk about the bullpen, specifically a couple guys in the back end. It did not take a lot for this team to end up with pretty solid back end of the bullpen. I mean, these guys have stepped up when they've had to. Matt Strom's been a little bit shaky recently. There have been some talks about the Phantom IL for him. I don't know if we're there yet. I think we could maybe potentially head down that road if you want to keep him rested for the postseason. But beside him, I mean, every guy recently has stepped up. Kerkering, he did allow a run today, but he came in and got the save at the end for the Phillies. Joan Duran has been solid since we picked him up from Minnesota. Tanner Banks has stepped up in the back end of the bullpen. His ERA is sub-3 now. I mean, he is pitching really, really well.
he's kind of been Tanner Banks has kind of been like an unsung hero for the Phillies. Like they come in when they need to clean up an inning, and he every single time is able to get out of it. Sunday afternoon came in with the bases loaded and no outs. He's got a rollover, double play, run did score, but you take a double play any day of the week. The next batter out. So really good inning, really good inning. Yeah, you got the full inning.
The 2 plays of the game today for the Phillies were Rafael Marchand's double, and I would say that double play that Banks was able to produce after he came in for a struggling Alvarado. And yes, that did happen, but even Alvarado has been pretty decent since he came back. And you're going to expect some bumps along the way. I personally think that it's hard to come back from. There's a lot of pressure on him. I'm sure he's embarrassed about all that happened. There's pressure from the fan base. I'm assuming there's pressure from his his teammates and coaches and other people within the organization. So it definitely makes sense why there could be some, I don't think I'd say tension there, but definitely, you know, there's an expectation that he has to uphold. Um, and the one guy who I think's impressed me the most, and I cannot believe I'm saying this in 2025, is David. I mean, David Robertson struck out the side in 2025. Like you'd think that the second two in 2025 should be a one. Like in 2015, I'd say okay, and like yeah, it's David Robertson for you, one of the best relief pitchers in baseball. This guy was Mariano Rivera's setup man.
That's
What?
crazy.
What?
It's
Like
crazy.
what's going on? I don't get this. And I mean, his he finds a way to get outs. It is his velocity. He's never going to throw more than 91. His his stuff is good. His curveball is good, but just the way he mixes up his pitches, he works really well with JT Realmuto and the Phillies coaching staff to come up with patterns against the guys he's facing. And he goes in, faces his 3, 4 batters, and he's lethal. He really is.
Yep, 40-year-old in 5 2/3 innings since rejoining. We'll say it, rejoining the Phillies.
Yeah, third time.
1.59 ERA and 10 strikeouts. He has just
10 strikeouts is insane.
He's been awesome, and the guy's 40 years old, and
Right.
that might be something with it. Like these guys are not used to a back end of the bullpen guy coming in and throwing low 90s.
Yeah, and like
kind
the
of
10 strikeouts is
relying on
ridiculous.
location, not on velocity.
Mhm.
And that's what
And
they
you can
were.
see.
He's an old guy. He's an old school pitcher,
Mhm.
and guys aren't used to that anymore. So he can just dot up the strike zone, throw strikes, get outs, and move on with his day. I mean, he's 40-year-old striking out the side in 2025. In the big 2-5 is crazy.
It is crazy. Like he just he froze the national. I mean, two of those three strikeouts that was yesterday, right? Yeah, that was yesterday. Two of those three strikeouts were strikeouts looking. I mean, he just dots the zone. His curveball is still as good as it was when he was Mariano Rivera's setup man back in the Bronx, probably with Rob Thompson, if my
Yes.
timeline is correct.
Yep.
This has to be like full circle for him. And now, I mean, it was yesterday he was setting up for Joan Duran, the current elite closer in the game. So it is crazy just the way. I'll tell you, I was talking to Ben before we started the podcast about this, and I stopped myself because I wanted to save it. But it's so like it is so random because all of these guys that we talk about, like Joan Duran, like he makes sense because we talked about him before the trade deadline. We had the whole podcast about, who we want to acquire. Then we acquired him. Then we had a podcast after he made his first appearance. Like it just it made sense. Like that's something the Phillies go through every year. But Robertson, the Phillies just quietly signed him, sent him down to AAA, recalled him, and then all of a sudden you have an experienced eighth inning setup man out of the back end of the bullpen who's striking out 2 batters an inning. That's just not normal. Like it's crazy to think about how they just picked him up in the middle of the season. No other team wanted him, and here we are. It's just very bizarre, very random, but we'll take it.
Yeah, certainly we'll take it, and like it's awesome. It's great, and when you have a guy like that, like when they signed David Robertson, it was supposed to this is a move we're going to make, but it's not going to be a major needle mover in this bullpen. It has really been substantial for this bullpen success.
Yeah, it has been.
Ever since David Robertson came back up to the majors and has thrown a sub 1.6 ERA in basically 6 innings, this bullpen has turned into an elite back end bullpen. You got guys like Orion Kirk. You're adding it Orion Kirkring, Joan Duran. You got Tanner Banks they can throw back there. Matt Strahm, who's been iffy and everything. But you got David Robertson. You feel good about almost every time. Right now, you feel good about every time he's out there.
Yeah, no, I gotta say, I'm right there with you. And of course, the return of Jose Alvarado as well. It makes you wonder, like, what was he doing the first 3 months of the season? Like, he was just dormant, just waiting to be called upon. And then here we are in August, and he's getting big outs for one of the best teams in the National League, one of the best teams in baseball.
And
So
to have a guy like this in October is huge because remember, we won't have Jose Alvarado in the postseason due to his PED
right.
suspension. Part of that was him not playing in October. So you don't exactly substitute everything with Dave Robertson because the velocity, of course, is not there. Left-handed pitcher, but having a guy like Robertson in the back end of your bullpen for the postseason will go a long ways for the Phillies.
Absolutely. It will.
And another guy in the we talked about Duran a little bit, but he did blow his first save with the Phillies. Oh my goodness. No
Oh,
Brad.
yeah.
No more Brad. Nobody's gonna have a perfect season anymore like Brad Lidge did in 2000. It's just never gonna happen again. But I mean, he throws the inning on Friday night, gets the loss and the blown save. He lost 2 hits, gets the earned run, did strike out 3 in that inning. Like, he's been so great that it just doesn't even feel like it matters. Like
it
it's something
doesn't.
that's just going to happen. Like Rob Thompson said post game, Mariano had 80 blown saves in his career. It happens to everybody. Nobody is perfect unless you're Brad Lidge in 2008. You're never going to be perfect. And Duran blowing a save, like there was other positive take out of that game. You got a couple homers. JT had a homer and some other stuff. But like Duran's been so good. He comes back the next night, is a little bit shaky against Washington, but gets the save anyway. It's just, he's Duran. Like it's going to happen. And if it happens once in a blue moon, like it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to get a guy who's perfect. That's just the bottom line. And again, he's better than any internal option and probably any external option that was viable, at least for the Phillies, at any point this season. I mean, he was the guy, and I still think he is the guy. And anyone who thinks otherwise is wrong. That's just wrong. Factually incorrect. I hate to say it, but it's true. Well, Ben, let's talk about another Phillies pitcher while we're on the subject. This is initially was the headline for us for today's episode,
Still is
and
that.
that is Zack Wheeler. So it was announced just recently here that Zack Wheeler is going to undergo a season-ending thoracic outlet surgery for the the thoracic outlet syndrome.
It was
Thoracic.
he
That's
was
what it is.
diagnosed with venous thoracic outlet syndrome, and the recommendation was to undergo thoracic outlet decompression surgery.
Right.
That surgery, it involves. I'm going to become Dr. Goldstein here really quick. It involves removing structures like the first rib, scar tissue, or muscles that are compressing nerves and blood vessels into the thoracic outlet. This is all according to Temple Health. I didn't just rattle this off the brain. Typically recommended when non-surgical treatments for thoracic outlet syndrome have failed to relieve symptoms such as pain, weakness, numbness, or tingling in the arm and shoulder. The thoracic outlet is a narrow space located between the collarbone, the clavicle, and the first rib. Nerves and blood vessels pass through this space on their way to the arm and hand. Phillies trainers said Wheeler got 2 second options. This procedure was the unanimous recommendation from doctors, and the recovery from this surgery, details from the Phillies of the surgery are forthcoming, but the timeline of recovery from the surgery, generally 6 to 8 months. And obviously we are approaching September, and there are not 6 to 8 months left in the 2025 baseball season. We're talking about early 2026 season. So obviously Wheeler's season is over, which is a huge blow for the Phillies in general. When you have a guy like Wheeler that will go out there every 5th day and have a shutdown performance, it just adds so much to your team. Now, other guys are going to have to step up.
This is true. Yeah, it's certainly a shame for the Phillies. I mean, he was one of, if not the best pitcher, in the National League this season. And of course, I know we mentioned this on our last podcast, but we are glad to see first and foremost that he is, doing okay. This is obviously like a life-threatening condition that he had sustained. So we are just most appreciative that he is in good health. He's on blood thinners to help flush out those clogged blood vessels, and he is ultimately going to be okay once he gets the surgery under his belt. But yeah,
And
it'll
like
be interesting.
if you're
It'll,
Wheeler selfishly like 35 years old, like you might have been having your best season like in the majors. He'll finish the year 149 and 2/3 innings, an ERA of 2.71, which was totally inflated over his last 6 starts, which he had a 4.54 ERA, a .94 WHIP, which was the best in baseball, along with 195 strikeouts, which at the time was the most in baseball. Like the last month, ever since his complete game shutout or complete game one hitter against the Reds on July 6th, it just velocity dipped. It was like low mid 90s and just wasn't throwing as many innings. Command was off. Just something was off. And I mean, the
yeah.
Phillies and Wheeler, he's very lucky they found this when they did, because it could have been, of course, it's a blood clot. Like this could have been a much bigger. It's already a huge issue, but this could have been a life
No,
threat.
it could have been. I mean, yeah, that can get
We
really
all know what
serious if
blood
that
clots can lead
travels
to, so
to your heart and into your lungs. So
it's crazy
that would
stuff.
be bad. It is. It is.
Now, Colin, he's 35 years old. Wheeler's under contract until 2027. Is he going to pitch again?
I'm not sure. So I was actually reading earlier about different pitchers who've had this surgery, and this is actually what Matt Harvey had a couple years ago. He came back, was never the same. I can't remember who it was. Someone came back and pitched a no hitter. So it really does depend on the player individually. For Wheeler, it's going to be a little bit tougher. He is 35 years old, which is, a lot of guys will see this in their, you know, not many guys are this dominant at the age of 35. So it's definitely going to be, a longer road for Wheeler to make a full recovery, but he also has been very healthy throughout his entire career. So I think that can definitely contribute to his recovery this time around. So yeah, I do think that we will see him pitch again. He also, I mean, he did say that he was going to retire after the 2026 season. I don't know how um if this will change anything. What are your thoughts on that, Ben? Do you think he will change that course or kind of ride out into the sunset?
Well, he's under contract through 27, and he said in his state, he made a statement on Sunday,
I thought it was through 26, no?
27.
Okay.
Yeah, 27. And he said that he'll be back in 2026. He may pitch again. It's never going to be the same. It's never
No.
going to be the 2.5 sub .95 whip Wheeler that's throwing a ton of innings, striking a ton of guys out. You're never going to get the Zack Wheeler that we've gotten since 2020 ever again. And that just needs to be accepted. He's also going to be 36 years old in 2026. Like it's just the course of life is just like it should be like this. But this will change the course of Wheeler's career, and this was his best chance at a Cy Young as well. When Wheeler will definitely be in the Hall of Fame one day with the last 6 to 8 years that he's had pitching. He's got the Hall of Fame numbers. He's just never going to have that Cy Young. And he could have got it this year, should have gotten it last year, possibly over Chris Sale, maybe a couple years ago, 2021, where he finished second in voting. But
Hmm.
it's going to be a different Wheeler. We're all going to have to realize that. It's just not having him around for the rest of this season it's going to be tough. But if there's any extra motivation the Phillies needed to go out there and win it this year, here it is.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. And there were comments, Taiwan Walker commented on it and said, that like the whole Phillies clubhouse was shaken up by this, which of course, you would completely imagine that. Because this is such a tight knit group of people. And this is something that a lot of these guys have probably never seen before. Usually we see these types of injuries where it's more, induced from a certain play or from a buildup over time, but usually their injuries don't, become so extreme that it leads to a medical concern, more than you know, I guess you could say like more of a kinesiology based concern where it's about the movement of the body or something muscular where they actually have and what we call with like an acute medical issue. So it's definitely scary. So
Yeah,
yeah, we
not
do wish
not
Wheeler
good.
all the best with his upcoming surgery.
Yeah, I mean
Hopefully
Dave
that all works
Dombrowski.
out.
Dave Dombrowski also said on Saturday afternoon that Wheeler is committed to pitching through his deal through 2027. So we'll see, but we're concerned about 2025, and the Phillies are going to need their guys to step up, big time. You go back. There's a lot of people are comparing this to
I
2017
saw
when Carson
this.
Wentz
Yeah.
tore his ACL with the Eagles and Nick Foles. It was like next man up. They were very banged up that year. Jason Peters with the big season-ending injury. A bunch of other stuff, the underdog thing. But it's not directly similar because the quarterback position there's nothing like that in Major League Baseball because there's not one guy chief commanding an entire aspect of your game. Like, of course, you need a good pitcher out there, but if you're not a good pitcher, you're not going to be pitching in the playoffs. And when you
Exactly.
got an MVP caliber season and everything, so different, whole completely different stuff. But it is the one similarity is it's going to be a next man up deal, and the
Oh,
Phillies have the
absolutely.
guys to do it. Cristopher Sanchez is going to have to, you know, he's going to have to take another step up. He's already had an incredible year, 2.46 ERA. That's third in the National League. Is high up there in strikeouts, innings, everything else. He's going to have to take another step to the real ace of this team. Ranger Suarez has been excellent in his two starts since Wheels is placed in the injured list at 13 and 2/3 innings, 21 strikeouts, 2 earned runs in his last two starts since Wheels has been placed on the IL. And then Aaron Nola, who has returned, he's had horrible this year. Had a pretty good start on Saturday against Washington, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, allowed 2 homers, a walk, and 6 Ks, which is one of the best starts we've gotten from him all season. He's going to have to level it up back to vintage Nola. And everyone's
Yeah.
just going to have to take a little bit of a step up. You've seen Tyler Walker take a step up this season. Jesus Luzardo is getting back into a groove. And if you can have Cristopher Sanchez rolling like he has been all year, if you can have Ranger Suarez reverting back to how he was earlier in the year, which he has looked like these last two starts, you have Nola who can certify and he can be a back rotation guy, and he's going to get innings in October where he seems to always deliver. So it's just guys are going to have to step up. It's going to be a next man up type of deal with the Phillies for the rest of the season, and this rotation certainly built for it.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think that these guys are capable of stepping up. We've seen them perform in the big, under the big lights before 2022 in the World Series, NLCS 2023, 2024, also making postseason appearances in Division Series, Championship Series. So these guys are well versed, have had their opportunities. I mean, we saw one of the most memorable moments, I think, from the Phillies postseason runs was Ranger Suarez when he closed out the NLCS
Yes.
against the Padres. An inning after Bryce Harper had the swing of his life. So certainly, it's a clubhouse full of guys who know what they're doing, and they're not going to be afraid or timid to step up in the big situation. And that's what this team needs right now.
And I mean, Cristopher Sanchez has pitched in the playoffs before. He's had two very solid starts in the postseason. And we've seen Ranger be historically one of the best playoff pitchers ever,
Yeah.
which is just, when you think about it, it's insane. And, he's playing for a contract. Remember that. Nola is going to be Nola. We'll see what they get from Luzardo. And then, Andrew Painter could get some starts in September. We'll see what's up with that. If Tyron Walker stays how he's been going, that could be huge. Like, the Phillies it's going to have to be a bend don't break. They're going to be okay. They just can't fold over this, but they have the guys in the rotation where that's not going to happen. Of course, having Wheeler is just such a game changer in all aspects, but like they have the guys where they're going to be okay.
Yeah, you're 100% correct on that. All right, Ben, let's talk a little bit about some other things going on with the Phillies. Of course, they have that big series, of the Mets, coming up. We're going to talk about that a little bit later toward the end of the episode. But there's actually some other exciting news announced today. In August 2026, the Phillies will be taking a trip to the Midwest. That's considered the Midwest, right? My geography is
Yeah,
just absolutely terrible. Okay. And they're going to be playing at the Field of Dreams game against not the New York Mets, the Minnesota Twins. There
It
was
was
some
originally Bob Nightingale really got this report really wrong. It was initially Phillies Mets, Phillies the home team in Iowa in mid-June. Now they're playing the Minnesota Twins in Iowa, and the Phillies are the away team in August. So
at least the Phillies didn't get switched out, though.
Yeah, a lot of I guess at least the Phillies are still going to be there, but a lot of things getting flip flopped. Like it was originally Phillies Mets. This is awesome. Iowa, is this heaven? No, this is Iowa, and now it's the Twins, and it's like this kind of sucks.
It's a little random too.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't usually do interleague games. Like it just doesn't it doesn't fit the memo for.
No, and if it's an interleague game, but it's like a local, like it's a close like market,
Right, like if you were to
if it's like
do
the Boston, if it's the Red Sox or the Yankees or it's the Orioles, like there's a little bit more juice because it's like
Yeah.
geography wise. But
Right.
the Twins are all the way in Minnesota. There's no any sort of rivalry between the Phillies and Twins. The Twins are horrible. Like it's just
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe they're trying to do like a reunion game between all the Phillies and Twins trades that have happened,
maybe.
Which would be a little bit weird. I mean, I don't know. Again, I think you're on point with it. Would be cool if it were a geographical rival, or like I think not as a Phillies fan, but as just a baseball fan, it would be cool if they did like Royals Cardinals, just with them being close to where the Field of Dreams is played. That would be like a neutral site to have that intrastate rivalry. That would be kind of cool to see.
Like Field
So
of Dreams games, we've seen them do. They did Cardinals Cubs. I think they did. The first one was Yankees White Sox because those are two teams in the movie and it just made sense. But they've always done like there was some sort of rivalry involvement there. Like it was either from the movie or it was a divisional game. So it was like it made sense. Now this is just like Phillies Twins. Like this is it's gonna be cool because Field of Dreams. Kind of overrated movie, but still a great baseball movie. It's a very cool scene. They'll be wearing the throwback uniforms. I would love if they would bust out the old like 1950 Whiz Kids uniforms. I think those would be sweet. But I don't know. We'll see we'll see. It's the schedule officially is released on Tuesday, so we'll get everything official. But they are definitely playing the Twins in August 2026. The Phillies will be the away team, so good thing we technically lose a road game, which is cool. So we only have 80 road games technically, but it'll be interesting and it's cool. 2026, you got the All-Star game here. Phillies are in Iowa, so a lot of fun things going on. Hopefully, they'll be wearing a World Series champions patch somewhere on their uniform.
that would be awesome. Absolutely, let Rob Thompson take another trip out too. Oh wait, he wouldn't be taking.
No, he wouldn't be going anywhere. He'd be staying home.
He'd be in his own dugout.
Yeah.
Unless for some reason they'd have the National League team on the.
No, they used to do it. They used to do it where like the World Series champion
winner was on the home. Yeah.
I don't think they do that anymore, but it wouldn't matter because like the Phillies or the NL, they would win and then be
right.
So.
Yeah. But I'll have to watch the Field of Dreams before the mystery date in August 2026. I haven't seen it, so.
You've never seen it?
I am not a movie person at all. Like I haven't seen anything.
I like movies much more. I can't do a TV show because it's like I don't have the attention span to sit and watch like 10 seasons of 45-minute episodes. Like just give me a movie. I'll sit down for like an hour and a half and watch
See, I'm
this
the
thing.
opposite. I watch a lot of TV series. I not a lot, but when I have time, I do, which isn't very often. But um, I a movie I feel like is incomplete. I'm never satisfied with the ending, and I need like the 45-minute episode. So it's like watch, go do something else, watch, do something else. But I can't. I don't movie
Yeah,
at all.
it's definitely not the best baseball movie ever. It's definitely not the best movie ever, but it's a
The
classic.
only baseball movie I've seen Sandlot and Rookie of the Year.
You
I think that's it.
definitely need to get those numbers up. You'd like Moneyball, so you should watch.
Okay.
Go watch some
I've
Moneyball.
heard of it, but
It's
I know
about the
that
old
there's
A's, like, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay. Again, I haven't seen it, but I've heard it. There's Major League, right? That's a baseball
Major
movie.
League, yeah.
Field of Dreams. Are there any other like notable ones I have to add to my
I
list?
mean, those are the big ones. But hey, leave a
Okay.
comment below what baseball movie
Yes,
should Colin
absolutely.
watch, and Colin will maybe we'll
Right.
add maybe in like the off season we'll do like a Colin movie review, and he reviews.
Oh, that would be so fun. Yeah, we have to
Um,
do that.
yeah, well,
We have to do that.
he reviews the movies, and
I'm writing
uh,
that down.
yeah, Colin. There you go. Write that down. While he's writing it down, I'll give you something that always gets a good review, and that's SeatGeek,
Oh,
because
that was a good
SeatGeek
transition.
is the best. SeatGeek, easiest way to get your tickets. Hey, big Phillies, we're going into September. This is prime baseball. Postseason's coming up. We got big games. Every game is big now. Every single one of them. Every game matters. So you want to be in the building for those. You go to SeatGeek, you get your tickets. It's just so easy. Link is in the description to save some money. The code is Philly Sports Report, PHILLYSPORTS, REPORT. You save $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Philly Sports Report, $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. There's no S at the end of reports. Just Philly Sports Report, because what are you doing with that S?
All BS. Keeping that away dugout at the 2026 All-Star game. We don't want it in the home dugout. That
Thank you
was
to
bad.
SeatGeek for sponsoring the Bell Ringers podcast. And definitely, Colin will be in the building. He'll be at Citi Field Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
When the Phillies take down the Mets,
Yeah.
who have been sticking up recently. They blew it. Gregory Soto blew it today in Atlanta for the Mets, losing 4-2. Phillies up 7 with 32 games to go in the season. And if they can walk out away from Citi Field up 9 games with less than 30 games to go, you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, you definitely are. I mean, I'll tell you, they really could just pull ahead so far this weekend. I mean, or this week. It would be just awesome to see them. They get up to double-digit games. I mean, 10 games ahead of New York would be truly ridiculous. It would be. Um, so I'd be super excited to see that. Hopefully the Phillies can make it happen. Like Ben said, I'm excited for tomorrow. Sanchez versus Senga,
Yeah.
Battle of the Arms, and that's going to be a really, really good matchup in Queens. And I guess technically I will be in the area for the game on Tuesday, but I'll actually be watching tennis. So speaking of comments, if anyone out here is a big US Open fan, comment that below because I'm curious.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite events to go to every year. And you can actually, like, when you get off the train where the US Open, like, you get off the train, you go left to see the Mets, right for the US Open. So, like, I can actually be sitting in my seats in Arthur Ashe Stadium and see Citi Field. So it's pretty cool. And I'm assuming that goes both ways. So Monday night when I'll be in Citi Field, I can see where I'm sitting um, tomorrow at the US Open. Also, Ben, look out on the TV. I've got some solid seats.
Oh, okay. We'll be
First
looking
row
up.
on the first base side.
Wow.
Hmm.
Heads up. Watch out for Colin Daly. He's going to be chewing out some Mets fans.
Yeah, I'm really afraid because it's my uncle's tickets and he lives in New York City. So we're in Mets territory. I will not be. Actually, I do have my Mets hat over here, but I will not be wearing that tomorrow.
Whoa,
Do not
whoa.
worry. I think I won that in an arcade, and I cannot lie to you, Ben. I don't think I've ever done this when I've been with you, but I am the person who will go to a game and I'll bring both hats so I can get a ball during batting practice.
Oh, you're like Zach Hampel? Oh my god! I have just lost so much respect for you.
I haven't done that in years. But I did try. I would do that. I would do that occasionally when I mean, I was this was, but it was like Zach Hampel inspired because I watched him when I was little.
Were you like younger than the age of like 13?
It was 13. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was like
okay. That's fine.
13.
I feel
I
like
even
13
brought
is like
the
a
gloves.
solid 13 is like a solid cutoff where you're like, all right, I don't care about getting baseballs anymore.
Yeah, unless you're like 26 or however old Zach Campbell is, that's embarrassing.
He's like 50. You guys like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't. That's true. I just forget those face wrinkles. But I know I like had the double hats. So I mean, just from playing Little League for so many years, I had so many of those random baseball hats, and I brought the glove with the attached to a roll of twine. And I put the rubber band over it so I
Oh
could
my
drop
god, you did
down. I know
the glove trick. All
the
right,
glove trick.
enough
Yeah,
before I keep like losing
I
respect for
know.
you.
I know. We're done.
I'm looking at the National League wild card standings right now. Couple teams still currently playing. But right now I'll go from the top to the bottom. Milwaukee Brewers are in the 1 seed. They're 81-49. They're currently playing as we record this. Phillies 76-54. We would have the bye as of now. And then the Padres are currently atop the West. They're currently in battle with the Dodgers. So 74-56. They took over the Dodgers on Saturday night. Cubs 75-55, the top wild card spot. They would be facing either the Padres or the Dodgers, and then Dodgers currently at the second wild card spot. Padres and Dodgers, winner of the division will either have that second seed bye, because it looks like the Brewers are going to run away with the National League. So they'll either have that second seed bye or that third seed where they're playing the wild card against the Cubs, because the Cubs don't seem like they're going anywhere. And then that second seed will or wait a minute. So the second seed would go to the top seed. So Chicago is hosting either San Diego or Los Angeles, assumedly, if the season ended today. They would be hosting Los Angeles in the first round. Padres, they would be hosting the Mets in the wild card. Brewers and Phillies have the bye. Mets right now are up 2 games in the wild card standings over the Cincinnati Reds. Reds currently playing Arizona. As of now, the Reds, it's the bottom of the 6th, tie game 1-1. So it could be a 1 game. And then the Reds, they go to the Dodgers. So the Mets could be out of a playoff spot by this week, depending on how the Reds and Phillies, depending on how the Reds do, but also if the Phillies, they would have to, of course, beat the Mets. But I mean, you look at it, and Mets are in some trouble. They're not playing good baseball right now. They're not getting the great pitching that they were at early in the year. Pete Alonso has cooled off tremendously, and they're Metsing.
They are like textbook Metsing right now. You are exactly correct. Um, and can't lie to you guys. Saw this one all the way. I think we both did. Happens every year. That struggle when it comes to, when the tension's high, when, you're getting goosebumps and the arm hairs are raising up. That's when the Mets start to struggle. And I'll say we're talking about the big Mets series coming up tomorrow. They also have a big 4-game series against the Mets mid-September. So that would be pretty cool
could be
to.
what ends the division like that. If the Phillies win
Yeah.
that series, it depends on where both teams are at that point. But that series that could end it. And like if the Phillies walk away 10 games up, 32 games left to go, like we've seen crazy things happen. Like everyone points their finger, oh look at 2007, the Mets were up 13 or whatever, but in September, and the Phillies came back and won the division.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball's a crazy sport, but I mean, with
Yeah.
how commanding the Phillies have been as of late, and the Mets just Metsing, and
No,
it could
absolutely.
this. I don't want to say the division's over in August because it's not, and that's just not how baseball works. But I mean, it could be early September and we're looking at the Phillies up
Yeah.
by 11, 12 games, and it's just like, but Phillies have a
Yeah.
big chance,
So
or the Phillies, are up 4 games, and it's a whole different story. But it just feels like the Mets always start off the season hot, and always it's like late August, early September. It's just like all crumbling down. Except last year, they started off really slow and then came back.
yeah, I guess you never know. You never know, and that's why they got to
Baseball.
keep. Yeah, yeah, that's why they got to keep grinding all the way through whatever it is, September 28th, their last game of the year. But no, and you were totally on point about, that series in September, despite it ending on September 11th, like that could be the end point for the Mets season. So, like I said, that series ends on the 11th. They have a little bit of a rough 6 game stretch. They play the Royals, who are kind of hovering around 500, little above 500. Then in Los Angeles facing the Dodgers. That will be a tough series. So the Phillies have played well against the Dodgers in the past. But then after that, starting on the 19th, they have a very, very nice. They finished their trip out west against the Diamondbacks. They're sub 500 right now. And then a nice homestand facing the Marlins and the Twins to wrap up their season. So if they can do well against that series, um, against the Mets, their remaining 5 series, 4 of them are teams that they should beat, that they need to beat, and at least get a series win. And honestly, Ben, I don't think a series win against the Dodgers is out of the picture either. Like that's something that they can certainly do.
And the Phillies at that point,
You're gonna have to.
hopefully the division is like, good, and then they'll be going for that one. They'll be going for that bye, and they'll be facing off that Dodgers series that could be for the bye at that point in the year.
Oh, 100%.
That'll be a huge series. But I don't like looking too forward ahead. I like to stay in the present. So Monday night, 7:10 at Citi Field. It's Cristopher Sanchez versus Kodai Senga. Tuesday in Queens, Jesus Luzardo versus Sean Manaea. And then Wednesday night, ending the series, all games start at 7:10. Taijuan Walker versus Nolan McLean. Nolan McLean, through 2 starts, a 1.46 ERA. He is impressed in his couple starts.
Yes.
Here, so I like the pitching. I think the Phillies do have the advantage I think they have it in all 3 games. Cristopher Sanchez, who, we know how good he is. Jesus Luzardo, he's kind of back on the swing up a little bit, looking similar to how he did earlier in the year. And then Taijuan Walker has just been perhaps the hottest pitcher, one of the hottest pitchers outside of Cristopher Sanchez in this rotation as of now. So I like the Phillies' advantage in the 3 games on the pitching side of things. And you know what? I think the Phillies are going to win this series. They're not going to sweep the Mets because that's just never going to happen. But they'll win the series, and they'll be up 9 games with 29 games left to go in the season, putting themselves in a very comfortable position going into a 4-game series against the Braves, which will take them into the month of September.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think they're going to take 2 or 3 from the Mets. Do you have any predictions on like which game they're going to lose?
I think they lose that last game. I think it's like one of those games like it might be the second game against Manaea. I think they win Monday night with Colin Daly in the building. But I think it'll be Tuesday night. They'll struggle against Manaea for no reason because Manaea has not been very good this year.
Terrible this year.
Yeah, and it'll just be like it'll be one of those games where they pitch well but they don't hit well and they lose like 2-0, like 2-1 or 3-2.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Just one of those games, and they strike back Wednesday and play well. So hopefully they sweep and then they're up double digits. But that would be
great.
That would be great.
Yeah, and the Braves.
Yeah,
I think they're going to take 3 of 4. I do. Braves are struggling. Phillies have home field advantage. Star Wars night on Thursday, like that's pretty awesome. I actually don't
finally back. The Phillies have not worn their powder blues in months.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
It's been forever. So
I swear they always have the City Connects on, like all of the time nowadays. It's crazy.
I can't wait for the day where they just announce like we're never wearing these again.
I know. They had 2 this month. 2 last month. Like I feel like they're wearing them, but it feels like it's more than that.
Well, it's also like every weekend home series they're gonna wear them. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big 2 series coming up for the Phils. They're really going to pull ahead. I can see it.
Mets after they play the Phillies are, I believe they are going to. I actually don't know. Hold on. The Mets are. They'll go to They will host Miami for a 4-game series. So
Okay.
Phillies they got to win games.
They do.
Just got to
They
win.
most certainly do.
It's all you need is just to win some baseball games. It's that easy. All right. So we'll talk to you after the Mets series, after the Braves series. You'll be notified. But
oh yes, you will.
Yeah. So big series coming up, and let's pull away in the NL East a little bit. Let's make this uncompetitive.
I love that idea, Ben.
Thank you all for watching, listening.
Go Phils.
This has been the Bell Ringers podcast on Philly Sports Reports, brought to you by SeatGeek. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Philly Sports Reports wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow the podcast on X and PSR on all social media. Also, consider leaving a review. Catch Colin and Benjamin's writing on phillysportsreports.com, along with following both on X. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring the show.